Morning.
Great. A few more introductions and then we'll get started if you like.
Good morning, Frisco, Texas.
Hey, welcome.
Good morning, Orlando from Maryland.
All right. Orlando from Maryland. I thought Orlando's in Florida. Wait a minute. Oh, no, it's Orlando.
Good morning, Megan from Irving, Texas.
Oh, greetings. Wow. Well,
John from Sacramento, California.
Great. A couple of more and then we'll get started.
Charlotte from Branson.
Hey, welcome. All right. I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone on this call. You can unmute because we're going to have time for some Q&A, but this is kind of an impromptu call. So Gregory and Robin from Bozeman, but in Kauai, our favorite island in Hawaii. And we're so excited to be here with you. It's a little earlier here. We got in about 13 hours ago. We got in about 5 o'clock Hawaii time, and it's 6 a.m. Hawaii time. So, you know, we got up before the dawn. We're really excited because we're a condo facing the ocean, and we're going to be able to see the sunrise in the next hour or so. But we actually love this business because it allows us to build it from anywhere. And Robin and I fell in love with Kauai after we fell in love. We actually came here 19 years ago on our honeymoon, and a year later bought a timeshare here in Kauai. And we used to come every year until that darn thing called the pandemic hit. And that kind of put a halt on everything. Kauai said, yeah, you can come, but you have to quarantine for 7 days. So yeah, let's fly to Hawaii, spend all that money to sit in a room for 7 days. So we stopped coming. And this is our first time back since the pandemic. So we're really excited to be here. And we have our youngest son and his bride here with us. They're upstairs in the loft sleeping, probably. But we're really excited to be with you here this morning. We love you. We love this business. And the thought came to mind, we missed our director's call. We're going to typically on Wednesday, we have a Wednesday morning, we have a director's call. And yesterday we didn't because we miscalculated our flight and we were unable to get on the director's call. So on the director's call, we come up with great ideas on what we should share. And one of the ideas that's been kind of lingering out there that I think that Michelle Niels wanted us to talk about is a concept of delayed gratification. So that's what we're going to talk about here this morning. But we just wanted to open it up and say a big aloha to everyone. We love you. We don't have to miss you because we're here together. We're spanning time and space, kind of say. And Michelle just joined, so she didn't hear me acknowledge her, that we're doing. Michelle, you just joined in. I'm letting everybody know because of you, we're going to be talking about delayed gratification today. And it's such an important concept. But Robin, you want to say good morning to everyone?
Aloha. These have a purpose, not just to, it's to cover up my glazy eyes. So
she got 2 hours sleep yesterday.
Yeah,
I mean, whatever
so
day it was.
we're here and we're happy to be here and love that we can take our business anywhere. And we actually, on Sunday night, we even have a meeting to do.
We do.
We have a local distributor. So
it's a business trip and it's a write-off.
always. So glad to be here, everybody.
Yeah, so we will mention LifeWave at least once every day and probably many more times. And that's one of the beauties of this business because, you know, working with our accountant closing out the year, I mean, he reaffirms that, you know, it's the nature of our profession to travel and build the business and talk about the business wherever we go. And that makes it a business expense. So we're excited about that. So
what does delayed gratification mean?
Delayed gratification means sometimes you don't know when it's going to happen, you know. And but last week, thank you all of the people that worked on our first book club 5-week, you know, discussions of the 5 master skills of network marketing, or whatever the title is, something close to that.
The power of 5.
The power of 5. There you go. Last week, one of the things that stuck with me is I think it was Coach Kalersa talking about how important it was to be out of persistence, you know, creates consistence, and out of consistence comes competence. So, you know, that which you keep doing, you get better at. and I always like to use the analogy when you're a little kid, boys and girls, because girls probably played stickball, played softball in school and stuff. When you first get up at bat, you swing, 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 and you don't hit anything. And then when you finally hit one, you go, whoa, that was fun. Now you want to go swing some more. Another similar analogy when you're a kid and the first time you go fishing, dad saying, you're sitting there with this pole and line in the water and nothing's happening, saying, this is fun. This is boring. Can't we go do something? All of a sudden the pole bends and it's like, whoa, the excitement of getting one keeps you going back for more, so and most men have never given up on that. They still have this thing about fishing, right? So and it's not about fishing, it's really about catching, isn't it? It's the real, well, there's a lot of fun going on fishing trips, I gotta admit that, but there's the real exhilaration comes when you catch one. And it's so with our business, the real exhilaration comes when somebody says, yeah, I'd like to try it, or yeah, I'd love to join you in the business. But it takes that persistence and consistency that develops confidence and competence. And the concept of delayed gratification means in the beginning, you work in this profession of network marketing. You work a lot harder. You could probably make more money per hour at McDonald's. Okay, I'll be honest with you. Okay, but 5 years from now, you're still only going to be making $21 an hour at McDonald's. 5 years from now in network marketing, you could be sitting in the condo next to us here in Kauai, making $21 a minute, or a second. So when it finally comes together, and I know there's a number of leaders on the phone here will attest to this, that they've worked for years, and all of a sudden people think, well, how lucky are they? Yeah, they were lucky that they kept doing it for 3, 4, 5 years. We used to say it's a 2 to 5 year plan to financial independence from ground zero. Okay. But, not everybody's at ground zero. Some people start out way up above. I'll just say, there's some new senior presidentials in our business, Stephen, Gina, and Merritt, God bless them. They didn't start at ground zero. They started, they've been professional networkers for decades, and people say, wow, look how fast they succeeded. Yeah, well, they had a contact base, they had experience, they had everything else going for them. It's so, but most of us don't have that benefit when we start. So you just have to build your own momentum. But, luck seems to favor those that are persistent, prepared, and consistently doing it. And the nature of this business is such, so you need to just kind of, and I guess this is a good time to talk about it because we're coming up on the year end. And we don't want to go without mentioning this wonderful new rank promotion benefit. And I think everybody should be thinking in terms of, where you want to be by January 7th, because that's a real, and we're so delighted that they extended it out beyond New Year's, because I hate, I shouldn't say that. I prefer not having to be working like crazy on New Year's Eve to help people finish closing up their rank achievement. And now we don't have to do that because you have until January 7th. They learned their lesson. They got a lot of feedback from some of us the last couple of years when they did this. But delayed gratification is just something I encourage you to live with. You never know. It's like fishing, or I have all these analogies, like drilling for oil, and sometimes, most people drill a lot of dry holes, but the gusher makes up for all the dry holes that you dug. And that's the way our business is. So no matter how long or how hard you're being working, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. So if you just live in the consciousness, it's not if, it's when. You got to live in that intention. And again, I think this Coach Clarissa was talking, living an intentional life, and living in the intention that, hey, I haven't figured it out yet, but I know it works because I see so many other people around me who it's working for, and some of them got there faster than I did, but maybe they weren't at ground zero. Maybe I'm at ground zero and it takes me a little longer to get there, but if you're persistent and consistent, you'll get there. And I got to tell you, as you've probably heard me say, and Robin likes to quote me, and I'll quote, one of my mentors, John Milton Fogg, one of the grandpas of our network marketing profession, that network marketing is the next logical evolution of the free enterprise system, because we liberate people, from the shackles of a job and, the 40-40 plan, that work for 40 years for 40 hours and get a gold watch. And that doesn't even exist anymore, right? And it's interesting that the statistics are that career changes are becoming more and more prevalent. Most people, when they finally do nestle in and succeed in life, aren't doing what they were trained to do. They're doing something else. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm sure Robin's got some things to add by this point.
I know this topic, and what Gregory said is you don't know when it's going to hit. And I know for some people, they have that great first experience and that feeds them, but other people, it doesn't start out that way. But the key is to, what's Gregory's line? Be here a year from now. And
Yeah. People say, what's the one key success, one key point, or one key recommendation you'd make? And I just say, be here a year from now. And that's something that I encourage you to discuss with new members joining your team. One key thing I'd like to leave you with, this might be the end of the training you do, the getting started training you do, getting them, signed up, enrolled, and going, says, just be here a year from now.
talk about the time money continuum.
You talk about it.
So this is another thing Gregory taught me years ago, the time money continuum. In the early days, you work a lot more than you're getting paid
I
for.
started to talk about that.
Go
Well,
for
that's
it.
what I said at McDonald's. In the early days, you might make more, at McDonald's than you do here, because here you're spending money. You're starting a business. You're starting a career, starting a profession. And how many of you went to school for years, 4, 8, 12 years, spent thousands, tens of thousands, maybe some of you hundreds of thousands of dollars on education to get ready to make money. And here you get to earn while you learn. But in the beginning, a lot of people spend more than they make, but that's an investment. It's not an expense. It's an investment in your future. Consider that an investment in your education. But once it starts clicking together, and I'm just going to, is Connie on the phone with us? I don't see her, but I'm going to use Connie Lucas for an example. People look at Connie and go, wow, look how successful she's been. I mean, she's, she's got this big, wonderful group coming together. Well, what people don't see is she practiced for 16 years, with another company, and didn't have anywhere near the success she's having here. And we hear that story over and over. People involved in the profession, in the industry, have never made money before, are now making money. But in the beginning, sometimes you got to spend some to make some.
And it's, oh, I just lost what I was going to say. You never know when it is going to hit, like Gregory said. Most people work this business part-time.
Mhm.
And this happens part-time. And listening to Jim Rohn, I'm working full-time on my job and part-time on my future. And then the income flips over time. And he also talks about, your conversion rate in the early days may not be so great, but you make up for it in numbers. And as you add the numbers, your skills increasing. So your conversion rate's going to get better. And it is these continuums and understanding that in the early days, it is a lot more work than what you get back. And if you're not used to being, Gregory taught me about having a 1099 versus a W-2 mentality. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, that's, a W-2 mentality is like, okay, what should I do now, boss? Okay, it's break time. Okay, now what should I do? Oh, it's lunchtime. Okay. Oh, it's quitting time. Bye, out of here. That's a W-2 mentality. You've got a
Exchanging hours for dollars.
you're trading time for money. And a 1099 mentality is like, wow, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to get this done. And when I first got in network marketing, my first year, I won't say I failed miserably, but it was close. Okay. I made very little money, worked really hard. But, as I used to say on a motivational scale, malnutrition's way up there, especially when it's your kids. So I was highly motivated. I had sold my other business. The sale of the business fell through. I couldn't afford to do anything else. I never had a job and never wanted one. So my dad raised me in an entrepreneurial environment. God bless him. So I learned to to be focused. So I had a 1099 mentality. It's like I worked for myself, and I loved that. And we all work for ourselves. It's a team environment, but it's really a team business. You know what I'd like to do is I'd like to, if any of the leaders on the phone would like to compliment what we're saying about delayed gratification or give a personal example about it, I'd love to hear from you. And then we'll do a little bit of Q&A, but I just don't know if there's any of the leaders that would like to kind of validate what Robin and I are discussing here, is this concept of delayed gratification. And then Kathleen, go ahead. You've raised your hand. Go ahead, please.
I don't think I'm considered a leader, but I have 3 recent delayed gratification stories that I think one of the 3 is going to apply to somebody.
Okay.
First of all, I took one of my personally sponsored to the convention, and this week we're putting in her first person. She's been in early in long time, a while, several years, and always faithful product user, but she didn't speak up to other people. So that's 1. 2, one of the young ladies that I've known for years through Bible studies, and I approached her on, I don't know, probably 3-4 years ago, after convention, called me and asked if I was still doing this, and if so, could she get in my business? She so far has sponsored 5 people.
Isn't that wonderful?
3. Oh, I was afraid I was going to do that. Excuse me.
Thank you for sharing.
The
That's
third
wonderful.
one is very similar in the sense that I talked to them, man and wife, and the man is really, really ill. And before COVID, we were at a gathering Friday night for the holidays, and they came to me and said, "Are you still doing what you were doing? We're interested."
Congratulations, Kathleen.
I mean, that person I think is getting in today. So this week I'm going to sign 3 people, but one's personal. The other 2
that's so
are
awesome.
downline. And when you're
Congratulations.
talking about delayed gratification, I can't help but share that. Thank you.
That's so wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Good morning. And hello, Ann. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I really wanted to share as I was listening to both of you this morning, because I've been in network marketing for almost 20 years now. And I was in another company for 15, 16 years as well. And I worked. I mean, every day I did the work, and I heard, never give up. Stay with it. Continue doing it. Don't sway, and keep that focus. I mean, I think a lot of times I talk to, brand partners, or I watch brand partners not growing, but they're all over the place. They're doing this, they're doing that, but there's no focus on the work that needs to be done here in LifeWave. And that's such an important piece for all of us to keep in mind, is that, if we can focus on our LifeWave business and on our personal growth, because I did a lot of work with my personal growth during those 15, 16 years. And I, have absolutely fallen in love with network marketing. I didn't like it when I started. I hated it. And I said, I'm a nurse. I've been working in a hospital. I'm getting paid by the hour. I didn't understand how this system worked. And it was a real learning curve for me. And I love the video that you always recommend, Robin, making the shift, because that video by Jim Rohn is a powerful video. It really demonstrates, how we have to make that mind shift to begin to understand how this type of business works. And it is really about being consistent. It's about not being offended by people who say, I'm not interested. It doesn't mean it's forever, because I've had people who have said to me, no way, not interested. And then they come back 2-3 years later, you still doing that? Or they're watching you on Facebook and they're seeing what you're doing and they come back. And I mean, I have to say that I have people who have said, I'll never do network marketing ever again. And they've come back and said, I'd like to give this a try. I love what you guys are doing. It looks like a lot of fun, and so the beauty of this is that we can create what we want, right? With this business, we can create a community. We have personal growth. We have an opportunity here to move forward and to just continue doing it consistently, and it will happen. Just keep that consistency. I love this business. I absolutely do. So thank you for doing this morning on your vacation time. Really appreciate that.
And one of the downsides of it taking a little longer is you get to change more people's lives. Because just think, maybe you don't find the business builders, doesn't click, but we are enhancing and extending lives with these wonderful products. I mean, these products are really a gift from God, via David Schmidt, one of his authorized representatives. Right?
Gregory, that's what I value, right? Because as a nurse, it's always been about taking care of others. And I wasn't getting the results certainly in my nursing career. That wasn't happening, right? I mean, I just kept seeing people come in sicker and sicker year after year, and so it's wonderful to be in a business where you see people get better year after year. The reverse can happen. So I love that part of it. So yes, it's well worth doing the work and being consistent and continuing to do this and to develop a team of people, of like-minded people. You're working with all these like-minded people. And I just did, Mary raised her hand, we just did a Zoom together a few minutes ago. And Mary, they trust her, they know her, the people trust her and know her. You bring that third party in and you have this validation that occurs, and people get really excited about being part of what we're doing. Yeah.
Well, I just figure we might as well add Mary to the conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we had a great time. Anne is so wonderful to learn from. I'm also a registered nurse and I have my own functional medicine practice. And so last night she had this game. She had this box, this big box with two smaller boxes in it. And it was taped to the max. You couldn't put more tape on this box. We had to open the box with mitts, cooking mitts on our hands. And there was a prize deep in this third little box. And it was like this crazy game. We're all around this table. And what I was thinking the whole time, because I've done network marketing, I was involved in 2 other companies. Both of them failed because it wasn't the right company. I feel like I'm home with this, but I am doing it part-time. And it is frustrating. I know I need to spend more time in my back office and looking at things and becoming more familiar and such. And last night, what I was thinking when I was clawing into this box and I'm punching it, Ann said, "Oh, you can use brute force." To us, it's like, how are we going to get to this with these mitts on? Oh, you can use brute force. I started punching this box. I was thinking, I want to get to director. I want to get to director. And I won the grand prize, which was a whole sleeve of X49. And I was like, that's awesome. And the other thing I wanted to share was that I had guests. I had this couple who came to me in my practice, and he said, "Oh, direct sales. Oh, we did that. My wife and I said we would never do that." But I spoke with him and I said, "You really ought to look at this. I think you would benefit from these patches, what you're describing to me." So we signed him up as a silver brand partner, and I invited him to Ann's dinner, and he didn't answer. So I didn't follow up with it. He didn't answer. He got the invitation at 2:30 yesterday afternoon. "Can we still come to the party?" I'm so, absolutely. So they were there, and he had to come back to my office this morning, and he said, "Wow, what a great group of people. This is very different than the last group I was involved with, so it's just such a wonderful company. And I feel like I'm home, and it is just going to take more time, but I am never quitting this life.
Yes.
Never.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is a lifestyle business. It's a community, and it's, we just love it coming together. And Michelle, you've been waiting patiently.
Hi, good morning. Aloha. You guys are
Aloha.
something, showing up here all sleep deprived. Thank you for being here.
Oh, yeah.
So I loved what Anne shared, and you too, Mary. And the focus piece. I just wanted to remind people on this call, many of whom were in Orlando at the convention, about John Maxwell. And you guys remember that incredible metaphor about the baseball bat, and you're gonna, go, or no, excuse me, an axe. Excuse me. The
Yeah.
baseball bat is the wrong tool. You have to use the right tool, which is the axe. And the focus, which Anne brought up, is you go out and you swing 5 times, just 5 times every day. And when someone
Mhm.
asks John, what do you mean by every day? He goes, every day, every day. You just keep going at the same tree with that axe, 5 swings. If you went out, and like Anne was saying, people who aren't focused, you might do 5 swings on this tree, and then the next day, oh, that tree. Oh, I think I'll do that tree. Oh, I think I'll go over there. You're going to have a bunch of very strange looking trees, and it's not going to be good for you or your business or your trees. So I
Mhm.
love that metaphor of, being focused. And then I just wanted to share about, like many of you, I too have done several network marketing businesses and have never been this successful. And I even said to Helen Peak, my sponsor, when she told me about this, I said, oh, I'll use the product. I am not doing another network marketing business. And literally, I watched or listened to, excuse me, because it was an audio of you two, Robin and Gregory, doing Why LifeWave, Why Now. That one, you guys, if you have people that are hesitant about the business, that pushed me over. It's like I called Helen immediately. Sign me up. Like, I want to do this. So
Oh,
thank
that's so
you.
great. Oh, thank you, Michelle. And it's because of you we're doing this discussion, because you kept mentioning on our director's call, we should talk about delayed gratification.
You know what? I think that was Carol Lee, Gregory, because
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
excuse me. I'm
yeah.
giving credit where credit's not due, but thank
Let's
you,
give
Carol
it to
Lee. I thought it was
Carol
you.
Lee.
Okay, thanks, Carol Lee. And I see Liz, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
I do. I just wanted to mention that the John Maxwell video that Michelle is referencing is now available in the liveyounger.youtube.com, and there's a new playlist called John Maxwell, and it's right there. It's the recording from the convention. And then a couple of weeks ago, John also did a live stream, and that is also recorded and up there under the John Maxwell. So
Beautiful.
Thank you, Liz.
Beautiful. Well, we're coming right in at the bottom of the hour, so I hope this was fruitful and something to think about, because, several key lessons from others, never say never, right? I think we've all said that at one point in our life, but LifeWave is different, and everybody's time is not the same. And so, you need to connect and just keep dripping. One of my best friends in the world, who's no longer with us, he moved on to the next world, but and he was my sponsor in another network marketing company when I got into my 3rd network marketing company. This is it, and I dripped on him for a year before the other endeavor he was involved with, collapsed. And within 1 year, he's one of the top 10 people in that company with me. And we had so much fun. We traveled the world together. We walked the beaches of the world together, and we just loved each other. And, so you never know when the day or the hour is going to come for them to say yes or to move on. But, I'm so glad that we had this opportunity and got the prompting to discuss this concept of delayed gratification and living in the intention of finding the right people. And sometimes when people say no, it means not now. Just remember that. No, not now, NOW, is really what they mean. So any last comments from anyone, or we'll probably bring this to a wrap and go see if the coffee pot in the kitchen works. Well, with that being said, I'm going to invite everyone to unmute and aloha. And we'll see you on
Aloha.
one of the other calls. We're here for 8 more days, 8 more
Love you
nights.
guys.
And
Aloha.
we love you all. And
Fun. Have a good time there. Enjoy the
Have
weather.
a great time. Thank
Aloha.
you.
Aloha.
Aloha.
So much.
And mahalo.
Everyone.
aloha, mahalo.
Have a lovely trip.
Holiday.
We love you.
Aloha. Thank you very much for this great training.
Thanks, Gregory. Thanks,
Thank you.
Robin.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks for everyone's
All you do.
comments.